Hello, welcome again to the lecture series on engineering thermodynamics. Now we will discuss entropy, a property which is a consequence of second law of thermodynamics. So in this session, let us prove Clausius theorem. We will define entropy and prove that entropy is a property of the system, that is, it's a point function, not a path function, and state third law of thermodynamics. So first let us look at this way. Two reversible adiabatics cannot intersect each other. Let us imagine a thermodynamic cycle. Thermodynamic cycle. Here we have P, here we have V. Let us consider this is pressure, this is volume. This process is a reversible isothermal process, means the temperature will be constant throughout. This is a reversible adiabatic process. This is also a reversible adiabatic process. Meaning of adiabatic process is no heat enters into the system nor flows out of the system. It is completely insulated. So this is also adiabatic process. So it's written over here. AB is a reversible isotherm process. Suppose during this process A to B, let us say we are expanding A to B. Assume that there is a cylinder and a piston arrangement or something like that, and you are moving the piston from left to right. Let us say this system is going to expand. As it expands, what is going to happen? Temperature decreases. As the volume increases, temperature decreases. To keep the temperature constant, what I have to do is I have to bring a hot body in contact with this, allow the heat to flow so that I can keep the temperature constant. So during this process A to B, maybe assume that I am supplying heat. Okay, right. B to C, it is an adiabatic process. Though I further move this, since I have insulated completely this one, I am not allowing any heat to flow into or out of the system. Again, I compress it, move the piston towards left. Again, it is an adiabatic, neither heat is allowed to flow out or enter into the system. That means it's a system executing a cycle, correct, but exchanging heat with a single reservoir, correct. Of course, it will produce the work. There is no sink here. That means it violates Kelvin Planck statement. In other words, this cycle is not possible, right? So thus two reversible adiabatics cannot intersect each other, correct? This cycle is exchanging heat with a single reservoir, violating Kelvin Planck statement, thus it is impossible. Thus two reversible adiabatics cannot intersect each other. Two constant property lanes can never intersect each other. It is inferred that a reversible adiabatic path must represent some property which is yet to be identified. Later we call it as entropy. What I mean by this sentence is, during process A to B, I am keeping the property temperature constant. B to C, Also there should be a property. So far I have not defined which is this property, which is this property. That property later I call it as entropy. Replacement of a reversible process. A reversible process can be replaced by a reversible isotherm and two reversible adiabatics. A reversible process can be replaced by a reversible isothermal and two reversible adiabatic. Let us say A to D is any reversible process. Any reversible process. This reversible process can be replaced by one reversible isotherm and two reversible adiabatics. That's what you have to prove. Any reversible process can be replaced by one reversible isotherm and two reversible adiabatics. So let us see. So process A to D is any reversible process, as I mentioned already. A to D is any reversible process. Let us replace this reversible process by two reversible adiabatics, that is A to B and D to C or C to D. This is one reversible adiabatic, this is another reversible adiabatic. It should be replaced in such a way that the area under the original curve A to D must be equal to area under the curve AB, BC and CD. That way you should be able to replace. Assuming that if this is the work done under A to D, is this the work done? So even if I replace that by one reversible isotherm and two reversible adiabatics, then the work done remains same. That way I should replace. That is why I have written WAD is equal to WABCD. Correct. Now we can also write a closed system executing a process QA to D must be equal to delta E, that is ED minus EA plus WA to D, work done. Correct. So WAD here QAD must be equal to, from first law applied to a closed system, we can write this equation. Similarly, you take QABCD. Again, I can write it as ED minus EA because it's point function A to D. So last end state, initial state ED minus EA plus WABCD, which is a path function. Correct. So WA to D and WABCD, they are equal, and ED minus EA and ED minus EA, they are equal. Hence QAD must be equal to QABCD. Since there is no heat transfer during two adiabatic processes AB and CD, we may write QAD is equal to QBC. Thus, it is possible to replace a reversible adiabatic by two reversible adiabatic processes and a reversible isothermal process in such a way that the heat transfer during the reversible isothermal process is equal to the heat transfer during the original reversible process. Okay, please remember this. It is in simple words, the whole story is it is possible to replace a reversible process by two reversible isotherms and two reversible adiabatics, so that the heat transfer during this process B to C and heat transfer during the process A to D must remain the same. Now let us talk about Clausius theorem. It is like this: cyclic integral for a reversible cycle. Integral is a cyclic integral and the reversible cycle. The ratio delta Q by T must be equal to 0. This is what we have to prove. This is a reversible AB, BC, right? Like this, you can write CD, DA like this. You can write a reversible cycle. Let me take part of this reversible cycle. This is, you can call it as a reversible process. As I mentioned, any reversible process can be replaced by one reversible isotherm and two reversible adiabatics. Similarly, this process I can replace by one reversible isotherm and two reversible adiabatics. Like that, I can go on doing this. Take this sector, do the same thing. Take this sector, again repeat the same thing. You go on doing like this. Now simply you take 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 to 2, it is isothermal process. This is a reversible adiabatic process. 4 to 3, again isothermal process. This is an adiabatic process. It is nothing but a Carnot cycle. So I have a number of Carnot cycles. Now, a reversible process can be replaced by one isotherm and two reversible adiabatics I mentioned. Considering a reversible cycle ABCT, replace each reversible process by a set of isotherms and adiabatics as I explained earlier. Now, if I just consider 1, 2, 3, 4 from absolute thermodynamic temperature scale, we can write QH1. H indicates hot. Okay, source by TH1 is equal to QL1 by TL1, or I can write QH1 by TL1 is equal to TH1 by TL1. If I bring this, it will become minus. Okay, so it means to say here actually when I move this to the side, it will become minus, but heat rejected is minus sign, so minus minus I have written plus over here. Okay, so I get this. Similarly, another cycle 5, 6, 8, 7 you consider, you will get this. So go on doing that, a number of such processes, finally add them up. Correct? That's why I have written sigma. You make infinite number of them. Then instead of sigma, which represents finite number of cycles, we'll have infinite number of cycles. Then I'll use the symbol integral. And so I can write now the difference is, say, delta Q by T I can write, and is equal to 0. So cyclic integral of R delta Q by T is equal to 0. This is known as Clausius theorem. This is applicable only for a reversible cycle. Now let us talk about entropy. What is this entropy? Let us define first. So here, now you see here, I have just taken some coordinate system and let us say 1A2, 2B1 is one cycle. Again 1A2, C1 is another cycle. So all let us assume that these are reversible. From Clausius theorem, you know, cyclic integral of delta Q by T is equal to 0 for a reversible cycle. So that I can write it as 1A to 2A delta Q by T plus 2B to 1B delta Q by T must be equal to 0. Consider the other one, other path. Again, this is from Clausius theorem. So once again, I can write 1A to 2A delta Q by T plus 2C to 1C delta Q by T is equal to 0. To subtract this from this, these two will cancel and you will get this. Whether you follow path B or path C, to complete the cycle, the property delta Q by T will remain the same. This property delta Q by T is same for all reversible paths between state 2 and state 1. It can be concluded this quantity is independent of the path and is function by end states only and is therefore a property, and this property is called entropy. So entropy is defined by the relation ds is equal to delta Q by T for a reversible process. Please, for a cycle it becomes 0 for the relation only for a process. It is important to note the entropy is defined for a reversible process. The change in the entropy of system as it undergoes a change of state may be found by integrating the above equation. Please. If you consider for a cycle, so then I say delta Q by T reversible cycle is equal to 0. But if you consider only a process, let us say this process. So now what I am trying to say about this delta Q by T, that value, and if this is a reversible process, correct, that I write R or REV, that is not equal to 0. For a cycle it is 0. It is not equal to 0. This is equal to something. That something is ds. This is what I call it as entropy. So I'm not talking about absolute entropy, I'm just talking about change in entropy. So entropy is a property of the system and it is consequence of second law of thermodynamics. So as I mentioned, change in entropy I'm talking about. So S2 minus S1. Okay. I have written integral 1 to T delta Q by T reversible. This is for the process, reversible process. So you can say, suppose it is temperature, this is a property entropy. If this is a thermodynamic process, this you call it as S2, this you call it as S1, correct? So this S2 minus S1, this change is nothing but if it is 1 to 2 and that is delta Q here, correct, and temperature. This value is what we are talking about. Okay, and reversible path. This can be used for any process, reversible or irreversible. So the above equation enables to find the change in entropy only along a reversible path. This can be used for any process, reversible or irreversible. The magnitude of entropy change for a reversible process is same as irreversible process between the given states. So now we are defined the property. Now let us define third law of thermodynamics. It states that what we have defined is the change in entropy. That's very important. DS. It states that when a system is at absolute zero temperature, the entropy of the system is zero. So earlier I have told you it is impossible to reach minus 273.16. That means the temperature will become zero. Efficiency is 1 minus T2 by T1. If T2 becomes minus this thing, then this will become 0. Then this will become engine with 100% efficiency. That means it violates second law of thermodynamics, Kelvin-Planck statement. So now if at all it is possible, if absolute 0, that entropy at that point you can consider it as 0. It states that when a system is at absolute 0 temperature, the entropy of the system is 0. That means as the temperature of a system increases, its entropy also increases. So it is evident from this law that the absolute value of the entropy corresponding to a given state of the system could be determined by integrating delta Q by T for reversible process between the states at absolute 0. So that is, if you integrate, initial state is at absolute 0. So T is equal to 0K. Okay. So to any temperature T, you take it and integrate it and you can find out. So that entropy is an absolute entropy. Between the state at absolute 0 and the given state. Zero entropy, however, means the absence of all molecular, atomic, electronic and nuclear disorders. So what exactly it happens is disorders. So the question is, if you take a system, imagine this temperature is very, very low and these are the molecules. So assume that these are moving. They are moving in an order. Okay, moving in an order. Imagine this system is nothing but a piston cylinder arrangement. Okay. Now all the molecules are having an order. That means all are exerting pressure on the piston, let us say. So the piston will move forward. Now if I go on supplying the heat to this, what happens? So molecules get excited and kind of things like that. Disorder. So increases. What do you mean by disorder? So this molecule moving in this direction, this molecule moving in this direction, this molecule moving in this direction. So this molecule moving in this direction, another molecule moving in this direction. You see, all molecules are not acting in the same direction. So they start moving in a different direction. This kind of disorder will increase. As the temperature increases, this disorder increases. This disorder increases means we say the entropy increases. If you go on removing the heat, disorder decreases, entropy also decreases. Okay, zero entropy, however, means the absence of all molecular, atomic, electronic, and nuclear disorders. So that is entropy is something, it creates a disorder. If you from this example only, if you can make out from this example, you can make out that you see here, if the disorder increases, definitely the work output will decrease because the effective pressure that is acting on the piston decreases. So integral PDV, if I take, P decreases and work output decreases. If it is all these things are orderly, then P will be more and our work output will also be more. So entropy increases means what? If you go on supplying more and more heat, disorder increases, entropy increases, then definitely the maximum available work decreases. So that is the idea. So first we have defined ds, the change in entropy. Then we have decided a base for entropy to be zero at absolute zero temperature. So third law of thermodynamics actually defines the absolute entropy value. And entropy change for a cycle is zero, reversible cycle is zero. Entropy for a process is given by delta Q by T, R is equal to ds. Okay, since it is not practical to get data, okay, data at zero absolute temperature, the change in entropy is calculated either between two known states or by selecting some convenient point at which the entropy is arbitrarily given a value of zero. For steam, the reference point at which the entropy is given an arbitrary value of 0 is 0 degrees Celsius, and for refrigerant like ammonia, freon, carbon dioxide, etc., reference point is minus 40 degrees Celsius, at which the entropy is taken as 0. Thus in practice, the change in entropy can be determined and not the absolute value of entropy. Hope you understood this thing. It means is that, as I already mentioned, 0K not possible. From here, actually, I should start measuring the entropy value. It's not possible. So arbitrarily we have changed, fix a position. So for example, if it is steam, 0 degrees Celsius means 273 K. At this consider entropy is equal to 0. At any other temperature, you measure the entropy. Considering here it is 0. Similarly, for each one of this ammonia, freon and all that, they have given minus 40 degrees Celsius. And unit of entropy, you know that. It is delta Q by T. Delta Q is what? Kilojoule. Correct? And T temperature is K. So kilojoule per K. So that is a unit. If it is specific entropy, means per unit mass, kilojoule per kg. Correct? Please remember this is the entropy, and the symbol that we normally use is capital S for total entropy and small s for specific entropy. Hope you got an idea about the property entropy. Physically, it means it's a disorder. In thermodynamics, because of this disorder, what really happens is the work output of a system will decrease. Entropy increases as the heat supplied to the system increases and the temperature of the system increases. As the temperature increases, disorderliness increases. As the temperature decreases, disorderliness decreases, and entropy also decrease. Definitely, our work output will increase. So, now in this chapter, we have understood, we have proved Clausius theorem. Okay, Clausius theorem, delta Q by T for a reversible cycle is 0. And we have defined entropy T is, remember, ds is equal to reversible process delta Q by T was this thing. And we also defined third law of thermodynamics, from which we could define absolute entropy. But absolute entropy is possible only, entropy can be zero only when absolute temperature T is equal to 0 K. That is not possible to do that. That's why we fix arbitrary point as the reference point. From that we measure the entropy value. And entropy is designated by capital S for total entropy and small s for specific entropy, and entropy units are kilojoule or joule per K, or kilojoule per K or joule per K. For specific entropy, you have to divide by kg because per unit mass we have to find out. So this idea of entropy, we'll continue our discussion in the next session. Till then, thank you very much.